Hey,
Hey, hey,
hey,
hey.
we back. Oh, and you are
I think we're good.
viewing a request. Emily is in the room. Emily joined. Oh, hi.
Hi, everyone.
What up, sis?
Welcome to the well, folks.
All right, welcome to the well. My name is Jomar, transformative executive coach, one half of the well. I'm glad you joined us. I think we're experiencing issues. I think we're back. Anyway, I'm Jomar. This is the
Hi.
well. We provide
Hi,
wisdom
guys.
bits.
Hello, everyone. My name's Emily. Coach, facilitator, teacher, and hot mess of a human these days. Just putting it all out there. Thanks for joining us on the well. If you're here live or if you're here watching on the replay, we truly, really do appreciate you guys spending your time with us, and we hope that the time you do spend with us gives you some insights, some wisdom bits, at least a good laugh to help you carry on your journey. Today we're talking about judgment.
Judgment is the topic, and you brought this forward, so I'm going to let you set the context for us, my friend.
Okay, setting the context. Okay, so I do plan on sharing this a little bit more on social media. Because my journey of sobriety over the last 2.5 years has been, I've shared a lot of that publicly. And I'm not in any official form of recovery. I don't certainly relate to some of the horror stories of addiction out there, but I was abusing the use of cannabis in my life, and probably alcohol too. So 2.5 years ago, I set myself on a journey to get clean and sober. And I was that for 1 year and 9 months. And then I participated in some ceremony, some plant medicines. Anyways, and I have recently, just in the last couple of weeks, been dibble-dabbling in the realm of smoking CBD. And so I noticed a lot of judgment around myself. Judging that I, fallen off the wagon. I will also share the caveat to that. I told myself I was going to do a year. I was going to go a year with no booze, no weed, and I did 2.5. So I'd like to honor myself and give myself some acknowledgement there, because it's really easy to skate over that. But that is where this came from. That's where this topic came from. I'm so just totally outing myself here. And that's vulnerable for me, right? Because for so much of my life, I really identified with myself as being a cannabis user. And then for the last 2.5 years, I really have identified with abstaining from all substances, anything mind altering. And so I'm just noticing the evolution as a human being, and going through this process of growth and change, and, choosing our poisons, our medicines, our fuels for our growth, our all of the, the richness that is available inside of this human experience. I'm just being with all of it, and as it grows and shifts and change as we move through time. And I wanted to talk about this idea of judgment, what it means, why we do it, what the impact of it is, because it's present for me right now. And I make up that probably it's present probably for a lot of people in their life. So, I'm going to let you vamp here on all of that. That's where it came from. And I think my largest insight around judgment is there's a very powerful distinction where judgment and love cannot exist in the same place at the same time. They cannot be simultaneous. You can't be in love and also be in judgment simultaneously. You might in one moment be in love, and you might in the next moment be in judgment, but they're actually two magnets repelling each other, judgment and love. So I think when we talk about this idea of having conscious choice in our life, practicing our free will, it's my free will and my conscious choice to practice love over judgment. And the first step is becoming aware of noticing where we judge ourselves. Cultivating that level of awareness, because I truly believe said it before and I'll say it again, that you cannot change what you're unaware of, right? And what you're unaware of, you can't change, and what you can't. First step is awareness. Next step is acceptance. The step after that is transformation, right? And you can't accept something that you're unaware of. So the first step is awareness. That was lots of words. That was lots of words.
And I want to honor you and acknowledge you for being vulnerable. That was really inspiring for you to step out into that. It was inspiring for me to see that. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing yourself. I think what comes up for me in this realm of judgment is, one, we are sort of our own biggest critics, right? We are our own biggest critics. Like, no one's going to give me a harder time about who I am and what I'm up to worse than myself. And I think that applies for everybody. And so that awareness that you're talking about, for me, is that sort of that first thing is like, yeah, that's that sort of inner critic. Well, you know, the people say no one's going to be a harsher critic than ourselves. I think for me, the voice of judgment recently has been sort of this space between, I talked about this in my blog this Sunday, but this space between incremental and exponential, this sense of being further along, this sense of having achieved more at this point, you know, having, you know, been at a certain place by this point in my life. You know, I create all sorts of judgments in that space. And I think there's a few things at play there. One, I get robbed of the wins. I get robbed of the joys. So for you to honor yourself of, like, you know, the work that you've done, that was really great for me to see, because that's what it reminded me of like, no, don't rob yourself of the journey that you've taken so far. There's a deep joy in there that's like waiting to be experienced deeply if you just sort of give it space. So you inspired me to sort of slow down in that moment of like, how often do we bypass our own wins? How often do we bypass our own joys because we're so busy caught up in this wheel of the inner criticism. And that was sort of an insight that I had of like, once I sort of listed down the things that I was proud of, the things that I was like, wow, like for me, these are wins. Like, they might not look like wins for everybody else. Who cares? For some they do, but like for me, these are great wins. And then I do arrive at this like deep conviction of what I want to be up to next. So that space that you described about earlier of like, there isn't a space where love and judgment could simultaneously exist. I think what that morphs into, if they did sort of like, okay, if the magnets all of a sudden did sort of become, you know, attract each other, it would be sort of this place of like love enveloping the judgment. It's sort of this like deep conviction around, okay, what's next? What do I want to be up to next? Now that I've allowed myself to slow down here. And for me, I'm more in mission. I'm deeper in my mission. I'm deeper in what I'm up to. I'm deeper in who I am. So again, I just want to, that all opened up for me in this moment because of how you sort of held yourself. So I want to appreciate that about you.
Thank you for the acknowledgement. I appreciate that. You know, I suppose if I can be anything as like an example, you know, for how to deal with shit in real time. And part of that, I was having a coaching conversation earlier, my final session with a client earlier today, and we were talking about, you know, sometimes the universe is asking us to slow down to an uncomfortable pace, right? Because if I'm not in action, how am I going to pay my bills? I like all this judgment floods in, right? From like literally if you get ill or, you know, you are dealing with a personal issue or a heartbreak or a sick child or something that rocks you to your core, right? Often that is an invitation to like, pardon my French, but slow the fuck down. And that can be so uncomfortable. because we judge, we put so much value in what we create and how we spend our time and what we do. But it's actually, the slowing down is actually the place where destruction occurs so that creation can then begin again. Creation becomes anew again. And I see that all over the place. And I think that, that's another thing, that being in the judgment of what we do may actually rob us from the invitation that the universe is creating for us, is inviting us to, which is this place of like deep surrender and acceptance in honor of refining your mission, recalibrating your dreams, setting different goals, making a new plan, answering a different call, whatever that may be. So again, it's just noticing, right? It's like, we're messy humans. Notice where we're judging ourselves and endeavor to practice that empathy and that compassion.
Love it.
Awesome.
I'm complete there.
Me too. Thank you guys for watching. We're here every other week now on the WOW Wednesdays at 1 Pacific. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love you truly and deeply. And if you want to inquire about coaching with either of us, or what that looks like, or what the possibilities are, I will put a link to book a conversation in the comments of Facebook, or you can message me on social media, which is emily.haruko on Instagram or Emily Haruko on Facebook. And Mr. Gomez, how do the lovely people get in touch with you if they want to be in touch with you?
Yeah, I prefer email. So if anyone is curious to experience a complimentary coaching session, email me at hello@jomargomez.com. I have a couple openings in June for that, so let me know. If you want to DM me, if you want to drop into my DMs. I'm not on social media. I'm not in social media as much these days, except for Wednesdays for sure. But if you don't mind the delay in response, you can hit me up there as well.
Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching. We hope you have a beautiful couple weeks, and love you all. Thanks, Alana. I see you there.
Peace and love, everybody.
Lots of love, everybody.